Hey there, this is Benzo Bogonko, an inspirational speaker and also a teacher. In this video, I'm going to share with you at least 4 strategies or indications that will help you to determine if after an interview or during an interview, if the interviewer was not only interested in you, but also you are the preferred candidate for the next job that you're looking for. But before I share with you these 4 strategies, I understand the reason why maybe you're watching this video could be you're preparing for an interview, or you have just completed an interview and you're left in that situation or in a moment of thinking and wondering, over analyzing whether you are going to be hired. And let's face it, most people go through that. Every time you go for any interview, before the time you are called or given an indication that the interview is successful and now you're a preferred candidate, most people go through over-analyzing and wondering, and even sometimes they wish they had the hints to know whether they performed well during the interview. Now, let me share with you some of those 4 strategies or indications that will help you to determine whether your interview was actually really successful and went well. The first one is the length of the interview. Every interview has a specific length. Some people or some interviewers will tell you that the interview is going to last for maybe, let's say, 10 minutes or at most 30 minutes, or even longer interviews to 1 hour. It depends. But if an interview goes over time, let's say, for example, the interview was to last for 10 minutes and then it goes beyond 10 minutes, that's potentially a good sign. I'm not saying that that's a very good sign. Potentially speaking, if it goes over time than the one they had already told you, that's a very good sign. But sometimes some interview will go under time. If the interview was 10 minutes and let's say the interviewer carries out the interview with you for less than 10 minutes or exactly 10 minutes, that's also a good sign. But if it's really low, let's say 10 minutes interview and it lasts for only 1 or 2 minutes or even 3 minutes, that's really not a good sign. But I know you will wonder, how much time is good? Well, this depends with the stage of the interview. There are some interviews which are just a phone call interview. There are some interviews which are on the first time meeting. There are some interviews which are on the second level of the interview. So it really depends. And if it's a phone interview, then normally they last very short. And if it's a face-to-face or the second or third interviews, they're pretty much longer than that. So remember, the longer the interview, that's really a good sign. The second indication is if the interviewer is prepared. Every interviewer, before they invite you to come and begin talking with you, they are always prepared. And some interviewers, sadly speaking, they're not prepared. But if an interviewer shows that he has prepared, he has relevant questions, he wants to ask you more questions, even follow-up questions during the interview, that shows that he or she is really prepared to interview you. So long as you are very strategic, convincing, and confident during the interview, you shouldn't be worried about the outcome. But on the other hand, if the interviewer is not prepared, that's a very bad sign. It shows that maybe they're not interested in interviewing you, or that person, the interviewer, is not actually looking for somebody to hire. The third sign or an indication that will help you to determine if you're successful in your interview is to see how the interviewer is asking you questions. Is the interviewer intrigued by asking you follow-up questions and even more, trying to get more information from what you're saying? And to determine this is to look at the body language of the interviewer. If they have wide eyes, they are smiling, they are nodding during the interview, and also looking like they are listening keenly and intently to what you're saying and how you're answering questions, all these are good indications of a good interview. On the other hand, if an interviewer looks reserved, uninterested, very bored, it's not a good sign. Remember, if an interviewer keeps on asking you follow-up questions during the interview, that shows they are engaged, they are interested in you, and that is probably a very good sign. The last indication, number 4, is, did you feel during the interview as if it was just a natural conversation, or it was a stiff question and answer session? Most people, when they go for an interview, yes, they are intimidated by the interviewer, and they will feel like it's a session of being asked a question and answering a question. But if you go into an interview and during the whole session, sometimes you even feel like you're just having a normal, natural conversation between you and the interviewer, that's a very good sign. Now, I'm not saying all these 4 signs that I've just shared with you are enough for you to determine whether an interview was successful or not successful. But basing on these 4 signs, it will give you an indication of how much you did or how well you did. And if you're not successful, then it will prepare you for the next interviews. So I wish you all the best. If you had an interview or you're preparing for one, all the best. And if you liked something in this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for the new content. Share this video to a friend or a family member. And I hope to see you again in the next video. Good luck and see you soon. Bye-bye.